The homeless stray dog is named Little Gray. He is a small, gray and white dog with droopy ears and eyes filled with loneliness. Little Gray once had a home and a kind owner who loved and cared for him. But ever since his owner moved away and abandoned him in this bustling city, Little Gray had been wandering alone, struggling to survive. Every day was the same for Little Gray, wandering the streets, looking for food. Sometimes he dug through trash cans, other times, he was lucky enough to receive scraps from kind strangers. He had grown used to this life, but deep down, he always felt uneasy. The city was huge, filled with people and cars rushing about, but there was no place that truly belonged to Little Gray. One day, Little Gray, hungry as usual, ventured into the back alley of a restaurant. The alley was often full of discarded food, making it a good spot for Little Gray to search for something to eat. As he rummaged through the trash, a voice suddenly called out, "Hey, who are you? This is my territory." Little Gray looked up to see a small gray mouse standing on a crate, eyes gleaming and watchful. "Sorry, I'm just hungry," Little Gray said softly, his eyes filled with helplessness. The gray mouse sized him up, then broke into a grin. "Haha, relax, I'm just messing with you. My name's Pip, and I'm the boss around here. You can eat, but be careful not to get caught by the restaurant workers." Little Gray was surprised by how friendly the mouse was. "Thank you, Pip," Little Gray said, "I'm Little Gray." From that day on, Little Gray and Pip became friends. Though Pip was a mouse, he was clever and kind, always finding ways to help Little Gray with food. Sometimes, Pip would lead Little Gray to other spots with better food or help him avoid danger. Soon after, Little Gray made more animal friends. A cat named Mimi, who often lounged on the restaurant rooftop, liked to share the treats she sneaked from her home. And there was a chicken named Dudu, who lived at the local market. Dudu often helped Little Gray find fresh vegetables and leftover grains that hadn't been sold. These weren't fancy meals, but to Little Gray, they were more than enough, and at least he no longer had to search for food in desperation. However, life in the city wasn't always easy. One day, Little Gray and Pip were sharing a piece of bread in the alley when a loud garbage truck suddenly rumbled down the alley. Pip quickly darted into a nearby crate, but Little Gray, too hungry to react in time, was caught off guard. The truck's huge claws began to lift the garbage bins, and Little Gray was about to be swept away with the trash. "Move quickly!" Pip yelled, scrambling out of the crate in an attempt to help. At that moment, Mimi leaped down from the rooftop, pouncing on Little Gray and pushing him out of the way. Little Gray tumbled to the ground, barely avoiding the truck. Mimi gave him a gentle lick on the ear and said, "You've got to be more careful. This city can be dangerous." Little Gray, still shaken, nodded gratefully. From then on, he became more cautious, learning to navigate the city's dangers with greater care. As time passed, Little Gray gradually adapted to life in the city. He was no longer the lonely, helpless stray dog he once was. He had friends, food, and his life had become more stable. Little Gray began to feel that maybe this city could be his home after all. But one fateful night, everything changed. Little Gray was resting in Pip's hideout when he suddenly heard the crackling of fire and the distant screams of people. He jumped to his feet and saw thick smoke rising from a building not far away, with flames spreading rapidly. His heart raced as he sprinted toward the fire. When he arrived at the scene, he saw firefighters already working hard to control the blaze, but the fire was fierce, and the smoke was suffocating. People were panicking, running for their lives. Among the chaos, Little Gray heard a faint cry. Following the sound, he found a small girl trapped in the stairwell, unable to escape. Without hesitation, Little Gray darted into the smoky stairwell, carefully biting onto the girl's sleeve and gently pulling her toward safety. The girl's face was streaked with tears, but when she saw Little Gray, a glimmer of hope flickered in her eyes. Little Gray, despite the smoke and flames, kept pulling her, guiding her out of the building. As they finally emerged from the smoke, firefighters rushed over to rescue the girl and bring her to safety. All eyes turned to the brave dog who had saved her. Little Gray, though covered in dust and with singed fur, stood tall, his eyes filled with determination and courage. After the fire, news of Little Gray's heroic act spread quickly throughout the city. His story became a local legend. To honor his bravery, the mayor held a special ceremony. At the ceremony, Little Gray stood on the stage, surrounded by his friends. Pip, Mimi, and Dudu were all there, cheering for Little Gray. The mayor personally awarded Little Gray a Golden Heroes Medal and declared him the city's honorary firefighter dog. The crowd erupted in applause, and the firefighters looked on with admiration. Little Gray was no longer a lonely stray dog, he was now a respected hero with a place to call home and friends who loved him. From that day on, Little Gray became a famous dog in the city. He often accompanied the firefighters, helping keep the city safe. No longer did he have to wander aimlessly, he had found his place and his purpose. Pip, Mimi, and Dudu remained his best friends. They continued to play together, share food, and enjoy their time. Whenever Little Gray thought back to his days as a stray, he felt immense gratitude for his friends and the city. Their support had helped him overcome his challenges and become the hero he is today. This story teaches us that even in the hardest times, if we don't give up, believe in ourselves, and rely on the help of our friends, we can always find our place and discover the courage within us.